Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you haven't already, please do subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. So today is the new moon. That may or may not mean anything to you, but usually around a new moon it's the beginning of a cycle. So this is something that's changing or shifting. Each moon cycle brings something new, brings something for us to work on, but also at a new moon it brings us something that we can set an intention for as well. Now there are times, and I say this to my clients as well, we can't be constantly setting intentions, constantly working on ourselves, constantly. Sometimes there's a time where you need to just step off the healing train for a bit and just be, just be present, just not have to be working on anything. Or so sometimes we can be very, if you are quite interested in your craft and you're very much like every new moon, every full moon, you've got to have some kind of ritual, and perhaps you beat yourself up if you don't do that. This video is kind of expressing about there isn't really, you don't have to do that, okay? So you can set an intention just by having a thought and then taking some kind of inspired action, all right? We don't have to burn a bay leaf. We don't have to go and drum in the garden with a fire or anything like that. You don't have to go to a sacred site to set an intention. So for some of you, I feel you don't actually feel very empowered about setting an intention at this particular moon, which is quite interesting because this moon cycle is all about reaping the rewards. So like the last moon cycle was all about gaining the knowledge and the wisdom. And now it's like this moon kind of brings almost like a humble element to it, which is just being present, just enjoying your rewards, just enjoying what you have, being content. So I'm going to ask you now just to take a moment to just label or name 3 things in your life right now that you're just content with, that you're just really happy with. You don't have to go into any depth with that. Just pluck them out your mind, What are you happy with right now? That you can sort of say, I don't feel like I've got to try and set an intention for anything new in my life here. Your intention this cycle could be to just stay in this place, to just stay present, to just be, okay? It can be something as simple as that. So some of you needed to hear that today, I think. So what we're going to do is pick a moon card to see what your moon energy is for this cycle then. So let's see. Where is your energy right now? So even though we aren't really, going all out, setting intentions at this time, which, it's good to have affirmations, it's good to have something to kind of focus on, like a focus point if you need that. But it is more about enjoying what you have, embracing what you have. I just saw surrender there. So maybe you are surrendering to actually, I'm quite content with where I am in life and what I have in life. We have regret. So maybe for some of you, you've been looking back over things and feeling like, oh, well, I wish I'd have done this different, or I wish I'd done that different. I'm picking up an energy of a particular collective here that there is definitely, it's like an orb almost hanging there of memory of something that you're going through. And you're role playing it in different scenarios of like, if I'd have done this instead, or if I'd have done that instead. And you're kind of role playing it in your mind as like, it's almost like if you'd have done something different there, then you wouldn't be having the issue that you've got right now, which is kind of like Orlog. It's karma, if you like. And what I'm sensing here is that there's an element right now of some truth or some kind of revelation that's occurring in your life right now based on regret from a past experience, from something that's happened there. And you can't seem to get it out of your head. And it's to do with some kind of wish fulfillment, something that you've been wishing for. Let me get another one. Adventure. That's interesting because I was looking at those palm trees and it was making me think of like jungles and stuff like this. Now I feel like someone here is planning an adventure or planning some kind of trip or travel. So it's almost like for some of you, this could be something that you didn't get to do, that you really wanted to do. And for some reason, at that point in time in the past, you couldn't do it. but it never really left your mind. And you're kind of working towards now figuring out a way of making this happen, of actually being able to do that, okay? You're listening to yourself in a way that you haven't listened to yourself before. You're hearing something on an emotional level within yourself that it's almost like you're allowing it now, whereas before you would have just like gone, don't hear you, don't know what you're saying, can't hear you at all. Whereas now you're a bit like, okay, I hear you, I definitely hear you. There's definitely something to do with travel with this as well. Okay, actually, I'm going to get your animal cards first. So let's see what we've got with the animal cards on here. So maybe your reward at this time, the rewards that you're reaping is your freedom of being able to go and do this travel that you want to do. Metamorphosis. Yeah, you're changing. Something's changed within you. You've grown through the experiences that you've had. And I feel like it's this one particular experience that you've had regret over that's kind of caused this metamorphosis. And now you're seeing an opportunity to actually to overcome that regret. You find an opportunity to overcome it. There's a lot of water around this as well, a lot of water and earth. So you could be an earth sign or a water sign. That could be something important there. And justice as well is important. So there's something about truth and integrity. Oh, I've got grass in my bag for some reason. Where have I taken these? We have ingwas. Maybe that grass, that's interesting, isn't it? Grass, growth. There's been a lot of growth and that metamorphosis. You've grown so much, ever so recently as well. You've been in this like self-container. You've kind of placed yourself in a chrysalis. Or you've gone from like tadpole into frog, you know. It's been painful, I feel, though, as well. And you may have had to detach from certain things in your life in order to get to this point. But now you're there, you're learning to trust yourself, you're learning to trust the process, and you're listening now more than ever to your inner guidance. You're really listening to what you're being guided, which I think is new for you. Wouldn't you? Wow, it's an ecstatic joy. So you're realising what brings you joy and harmony, and you're aligning yourself on the path that brings more of that into your life. You've realised it's like, I'm done with drama. I'm done with anything that brings me down. And I feel like this situation from the past that I can just see in this like bubble almost hanging around you that you keep looking at. Something took away the joy there, something took away, and it's something that you've now detached from. So now that's gone, you're starting to see things more clearly, and you're starting to realise, like, if only I'd have let go of that sooner, maybe this situation wouldn't have happened and I wouldn't have regrets, okay? But you know now what does bring you joy, you know now what does bring you happiness, and there's a new beginning on the horizon with that, with those two runes coming out there. There is an opportunity. Yeah, it's a real death and rebirth. So you're going through this complete transformation. You really are. You might not even recognise yourself. You might even find that you are dressing different. You might be working out differently. You might be eating different foods, or just deciding, you know, that you're going to cut down on certain things that you felt weren't healthy for you. And there's definitely parts of you, it could be changing your environment, or not visiting somebody as often as you used to, or multiple people that you used to visit you don't seem to want to be around anymore. You kind of cutting ties with certain aspects that you feel were keeping you attached to something that you then caused a regret that you're now looking at. Okay, let's get into the tarot cards on this then. So what is this regret about? What is this regret about? Because I can almost see somebody like reminiscing, but also like role playing different scenarios of like going traveling and things like that, and doing different things. And you're almost like, if I hadn't have made this choice, I could have been doing this. If I hadn't have made this choice, I could have been doing that. But that energy has kind of kept you stuck, I feel. Oh, that's interesting. So, okay, the regret is about something that you walked away from. And ever since you've walked away from it, it's been causing you a lot of worry and guilt, or like just you can't stop sort of thinking about it or worrying about it. It's really hurt you. It's almost like it really hurt you to have to walk away from this, but you felt like you had to at the time, but now you're having regret over that. There's something to do with birds as well that's significant in this. Maybe somebody keeps birds, or you're seeing a lot of birds. Maybe birds are sort of like a bit of an omen to you. That's weird. A swallow? A sparrow literally just like landed on the window then, just as I was saying that. That's really weird. Maybe sparrows are something to do with this, if you're seeing a lot of sparrows, or that's happening to you a lot in your life. But it's almost got this analogy to it of like something like hitting its head against the wall. It's almost like you feel like you're hitting your head up against a wall and you don't know how to change this. So what is this? Why is it a challenge to you? I'm going to do that again. Okay. Although I will say justice is on the bottom there as well. Why is this a challenge right now? Okay, so the challenge right now is that you want to make, I feel like you want to come rushing in, you want to make plans. So I saw the Three of Pentacles before, and I can't, sometimes you see cards, you're like, I can't see that I saw that. So it's part of this reading. Now that's about kind of mending things, putting things right. And I feel there's an energy here of you wanting to put something right. You want to come rushing in to do that. You've made a decision on it, you want to come in quite quickly. But then there's this energy of holding back. It's like almost like you come rushing in, but then you holding back, pulling back. So it's a very much like hot, cold, in, out sort of energy coming from this. So the challenge here is about being able to put something to bed for a new beginning to happen. Okay, it's a death and rebirth situation. You've got to put to bed this energy of coming in and then holding back, coming in and then holding back, okay? I think you're confusing yourself as well as anybody else in this situation. And in that confusion, it's holding you locked in a space that isn't allowing you to move forward. So there's a need here. The challenge here is about allowing yourself to let go of this so that you can move forward. It's allowing that transformation to happen, okay? So let's see, how do you do that? How do you allow this transformation to happen? How do you allow this transformation to happen? Well, let's have a look. How do you allow this transformation to happen? You have the Knight of Wands. Okay, so you have to allow yourself to just be enthusiastic about it. You've got to really reach into your heart and be sort of like, you know, driven by that passion, by that knowledge of what it is that you really want, okay? And this is part of you kind of like just putting the past to bed, okay? The past is in the past. You can't change it. Stop beating yourself up over it because you can't do anything about it. All you can do is move forward in the right way. This is you following the beat of your own drum. This is about you kind of finding what is your passion, what drives you, what makes you feel good, and allowing yourself to just, you know, lighten it up a little bit. Remember before we were saying about, you know, constantly setting intentions and constantly working on this, that and the other. Sometimes we can really spiral ourselves out in that kind of cycle constantly. So every now and then there's a time for just having some fun, just letting your hair down, you know, just enjoying. And you need to find a space or a way to forgive yourself for the past so that you can enable this passion, this flow, this enthusiasm, you know, because it's going to inspire you for how to move forward. There is a new beginning on the way, okay? There's love here. Like we said before, I feel like this whole situation has helped you to acknowledge a lot of your emotional intelligence, if you like. It's kind of helped you to understand what is emotionally fulfilling for you and move towards that. Yeah, because I feel like this is possibly to do with a friendship. Maybe something's happened here. Perhaps you was, I don't know, it's almost like you were supposed to do something and something happened and it kind of sabotaged the whole friendship. Yeah, I mean, this could be a relationship, but I'm getting more about friendship here. But there's a want to kind of like bring things back to how they were, you know. I feel like you had a lot of fun with this person. So it's like you want to just go back to having fun again, but it feels like it's tainted. It feels like something's tainted on here. You may have had some wise counsel over this. You may have had some tarot readings done or something like that around what do I do about this. Maybe that's why you're here. You still haven't found the answer to this, or you're not finding the answer that you want. So what do you need to focus on? Let's see if we can get it for you today. What do you need to focus on right now? Yeah, you've got to focus on your intuition, okay? Being guided by what you know is the right thing to do. And I feel like you already know what it is, but there's a fear around doing it. Now, why is there a fear there? Let's see if we can get, what would the outcome be for you to just step forward and say what you want? What is the outcome of that if you step forward and say what it is that you really want? So the outcome here, if you step forward and say what you really want, is coming out of breaking your heart wide open. And that's the fear. That's why you're afraid of this. Because your fear is that you won't be forgiven. Your fear is that you're going to be rejected or heartbroken over this. When in actual fact, what's going to happen is it's going to open your heart wide open. Okay. Let's get some more clarity on that Three of Swords for you so I can explain that to you more. This is the thing with growth. Sometimes it's not comfortable. It is not comfortable. Yeah, so it's basically, you know, in the past, I feel like you've had situations or relationships, friendships where it's been not really on a mature level. And it's just being, you know, surface level, that kind of thing. But there's something that's been a lot deeper with you at this time. And you have always been able to kind of like walk away from things and not be touched by it. But something here feels like it's much deeper than that. And your fear, it's kind of like, it's reaching into a part of you that's around like the inner child kind of thing. So it's, it could be like the inner teenager. It's an area of you that you don't feel has been touched before, but now you do feel it has been. And it's bringing up emotion that's unexpected for you, I feel. You perhaps haven't had that experience before. And you know that the truth of this and bringing this forward for you, announcing your regret over this, even like admitting it to yourself, is opening your heart. And I feel like it hurts. It's almost like it's so alien to you or unusual for you. But you're starting to do it gradually, bit by bit. This is what this metamorphosis is about. And you're starting to feel a warmth there, a different kind of energy there. And you're recognizing that now. You're realizing that. And I feel like you're liking it. But you're also afraid of it. At the same time, we've got that justice card on the bottom there as well. I feel like there is some kind of truth that you want to come forward with, that you want to speak up about, to gain some balance, some clarity. It's like you want to do things right. You want to put things right. So what else do we have advice-wise for you? What advice do we have? That's too many, but we did have the star on the bottom. So the advice is kind of like, you know, you know what you've been manifesting, you know what you've been wishing for, and it is available to you, okay? It is available to you. I feel like what you're regretting from the past, that opportunity is still there, but you're holding yourself back through fear of all is lost almost. You're being very hard on yourself, I feel, at this time. That's why we've got the cards coming out that are like, you know, come on, just be a bit more light-hearted. Lighten it up a little bit. So what is your advice here? Spirit ain't got a lot of advice today, have they? What's your advice? Let's have a look. Okay. So your advice at this time is about getting balance. Now, you may have in the past, we all have expectations, don't we, in certain situations. Maybe you have an expectation of like, oh, well, I paid last time, so it's your turn to pay, or that kind of thing. And I feel that, you know, what you would like, what you need at this time is balance. So it's almost like if you want something from somebody else, maybe try giving them what it is that you want. And you'll know if they are on the same wavelength as you because it will be reciprocated. And that's how you know. So it's almost like they're telling you to reach out with something here. And if it's reciprocated, then you know it's going to be workable, okay? So then you can start to move through what it is that you're regretting at this time. And, you know, if there was some kind of adventure or plan in place, you can maybe then start putting the wheels back in motion, all right? Now, if it's not reciprocated, then it will tell you everything, because you'll know then that, like, okay, this person or this situation is still not how I want it to be, so let's just call it quits, okay? So that's your advice, is about understanding the balance. There is an element of surrendering here, and I feel like it's kind of, it's taking a different perspective, seeing things from a different way, almost like getting over your pride. You know, coming forward with like, well, this is what I really want, okay? But there's perhaps a defensiveness on there of like, well, I don't want to feel like I'm getting down and kissing somebody's boots. No, of course not. But you, at the same time, feel like there may be an opportunity that could be missed if you don't come forward and explain what it is that you're feeling about the past, you know? I keep getting this energy. It's almost like two friends kind of like discussing a trip that they never got to take because of some kind of incident or something that happened. And I feel like there was money involved or something like that, but it was never really talked about. And I feel like you want to come forward and say something, but this person has never kind of really opened up a conversation about this. So your fear here is that you're going to bring it up and it's going to cause some kind of discord within the friendship. But it's bothering you. It needs bringing up, is what you're feeling, is what you're getting. Okay, so let's see what else we have for you on that. Yeah, okay, so it's almost like someone is emotionally holding back, is what you feel. You've gone into a space of doing a lot of things for yourself. Now, I've kind of gone off the word self-love a little bit, because it's almost like this kind of energy of like, oh, I just do things for myself now, you know, I'm just all about me. And actually what you really want is some kind of commitment, some kind of investment in another person. But at the same time, you kind of like reach this level of self-love where you got like your lifestyle the way you want it, or you're doing the things that you want to do, and it's almost like you don't feel like you've got the time to invest in something, but you really want to at the same time. Yeah, it's like you kind of, there's something about, there's an element here about money and exchanging money between two people. and something that hasn't been talked about around that. But it's not only that. I feel like it's love as well. It's almost like a situation of like, well, I can deal with not being paid back if maybe we could be in a relationship. So then it's like we just share the load then, yeah. So that's kind of the energy as it is. It's like you're between sort of like asking for money back or asking for like, you know, can we be in a committed kind of thing here? Take it as it resonates. I mean, that sounds quite specific, so that might not be for everybody. So please do, if that resonates with you, drop a little emoji down into the comments to tell me about that. I'm available for personalised readings as well, so we can go deeper into a particular situation to look into it more as well if you need more clarity on that. Okay, so what is the outcome of this? What is your outcome here? But this whole situation, it's brought you into a real transformation. You know, you've kind of, especially on an emotional level, I feel. Okay. So the outcome here is going from feeling despondent, feeling bored, feeling like all is lost, or just, you know, overthinking, reminiscing on things that have not worked out, into feeling very inspired and enthusiastic about your way forward. Okay, it's almost like you've found the inspired action. Found the inspired thought, and here's the inspired action. Okay, you've got an idea, and it's time that you brought it forward. Do you remember these? Bring it forward, speak it out. But it's because of the money situation that you're afraid to do that. And I feel for some of you, it's a fear that you're going to be the one paying for it all, and you're going to feel like it's going to go back to that situation from the past. Okay, it's like you kind of, I feel like you were quite a, where is it? Yeah, you've had your heart broken before. You've had situations before where you've been taken as a fool almost. And maybe what I'm getting is this situation again of like, you know, somebody booking a holiday maybe and going like, well, I'll pay for it, and waiting for the other person to pay you, and then all things mess up and you feel like the fool because you've now lost out on money. But there's some other situation here not to do with that, where it's that money side of things that holds you back from stepping forward. It's almost like but what if this happens to me again? What if this happens to me again? But through the situation you've been through, you're learning to trust. You're learning to know and decide what you know you can trust. And you know what brings you harmony and what is exciting to you. And that's what's creating this death and rebirth situation, okay? So it's almost like you can leave that behind, yeah? Stop worrying about it. Just move forward with that inspiration, that enthusiasm. So if you do that, what happens? Try not to place your new beginnings based around things that have happened in the past, okay? There are opportunities here. There is definitely an opportunity for you. It's your own illusion that you can put over it as to whether this is going to be right for you or not. I feel like you already know and you're trusting the process. You've been very patient, and you're starting to understand the purpose of this now. You're starting to understand why this is on your mind, why it's not going away, why you keep thinking about it. There's some unfinished business here, I feel, that you want to just clarify. You want to just tie up some loose ends here, or, you know, something that brings you peace is what I'm feeling. Something that's starting to bring you peace, but you thought at the time that it wasn't very peaceful. But you've had a realisation now. But there's still this energy of money side of things, and trusting a feeling friendships or relationships around money. But that's okay. Just trust yourself. Like we said before with that Six of Pentacles, you know, if you make an offer or state something, if it's not reciprocated in the way that you want it to be, then it's telling you everything. But I've got a feeling it will be, okay? I've got a feeling that it will be. Let's get one final card to finish off on here. I've seen the Strength card several times there as well. So it's like, you know, just have the courage. Have the courage to bring out what it is that you want to say, what you want to do. Because it does feel exciting. I do feel like there is an exciting thing happening for you here. Oh, okay. There's still some doubts. There is really still some doubts. You're really on the back foot on this and holding back. Why is that? But the energy here is that you're working on it. You're making the plans. You're putting the plans together because you want to come out of this like indecision. You're done with that now. You want to be able to see the direction, see the path to take. So I'm going to have to get one more now, aren't I? Clarify those two. Let's clarify those two. Yeah. Deep down, it's about this completed cycle. This is joy, inspiration, and travel. There's definitely something about travel on this. And I feel like a situation that involves travel, and it does feel like it's a situation that involves travel with somebody else, it's going to complete a cycle and it's going to help to heal things. It's going to put things back into balance of how you want them to be. So you're kind of worrying about something in the past and you having to bring something up. Well, actually, I think it's more in action than it is in words that this is coming through. There doesn't seem to be, there's hardly any swords here whatsoever. It's more about inspiration and passion, you know, and the cups are kind of suggesting that flow, you know, moving through fear and doing it anyway. And that's what I've got for you today. So if that resonates with you and you would like to know more or you've got any questions on that, my details are down in the description box. I've got different ways that you can contact me and get some answers on your questions. So I hope you all have a blessed day.